Cold, isn't it? I'm calling it Arctic Chill. Yeah, it's here, but it's not going to last long. I'm going to go over the timing of our next batch of cold air, how cold that may be for Arkansas, and my thoughts about the long range forecast when it comes to Christmas, especially. Now, if you know, I have been talking a lot about the perception of these long range temperature outlooks that I love. I love looking at these outlooks because they're used as guidance, but you have to put them in some sort of context because you're seeing them all over social media. Um, and I'm going to get to that next batch of cold air in just a little bit. But first of all, remember when you look at this Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 or 8 to 14 day outlook, there's two of them. Well, there's even the 3-week one too. But anyway, it will list things as above average, near average, or below average. It's not a forecast. All it's telling you is that during that 6 to 10 day time period, the likelihood of temperatures being above average, below average, or average. So if you see bright reds all over the place, all that is telling you is that there's a high confidence level for above average temperatures. It does not tell you how much above average. It just says, yeah, we're probably going to be warmer than average in this time period. That's the other thing to take away. Time period. So you had day 6, 7. That was supposed to be a joke, by the way, day 6, 7. Day 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's a 5-day period. If you take one of those days and it's really cold, you get an Arctic air intrusion, and it's really cold, it's in and out. You have these other 4 days that are warm, and then you average all 5 of those days out. It's still above average. So that that outlook verified. So there's my soapbox, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But first, there it is. This is the European computer model. That's the Arctic air that's in place now. So it's here. Coldest morning will be Monday morning. Lows will be in the upper teens. Yes, I will be making snow if the equipment still works. All right, so what you see here is at the surface, you see this Arctic high. I'll explain everything you're looking at. That Arctic high starts to move away. This is Monday morning, so it's right on top of us. That means the winds are going to lighten up. The core of the cold stays to the north and the east. Now, do you see this blue line right here? At about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere, that's the freezing line. So I like to look at that too. It's what we call 850 millibars. So you see how that lifts away. That means we've got warming air. It lifts away and up towards the northeast as southwest winds take over. For some reason, this doesn't want to work. But anyway, there it is. So that's Wednesday, warmer air, warmer air. Whoa, look at this. All right, so this is Thursday. Look at this frontal boundary. Low pressure up in the Great Lakes, extending a frontal boundary back into Arkansas. Maybe some rain with that. And another batch of very cold air in the northern plains diving towards the south. So I think this arrives on Friday. Will it be as cold as this? I don't think so. I think that this is going to be colder than average for a day. This is what I'm talking about. So you can get mild weather for much of the week, and then you go into Friday, and it's cold. All right? And then it warms right back up. So there's the warm up again this weekend. Wait, here comes another batch of colder air. So let's put a pause button on the talk of a warm Christmas. It could be. It could be. You just got to time these frontal boundaries out. White Christmas, extremely doubtful. Sorry, that's the way it looks. But the other thing that I want to point out to you here are the temperature anomalies. This is a departure from average. And I'll just show you a hypothetical or just go to one point in time here next Saturday. This is the 20th. This is showing in Western Canada and Alaska and through Central Canada. That's a vast reservoir of bitterly cold Arctic air. So it's right there towards our north. It does not take much for some of that to get drilled towards the south, and then it retreats. And let me back it up, and I'll show you. This is Thursday. There's that one that's coming later this week. So then you go to Friday. See that? So it's not as cold as what we have here, but it knocks temperatures down for a day or so, all right? And then it warms right back up. So, I mean, when you look at the whole period, it's going to be above average. That doesn't mean you can't get cold air intrusions. So that vast reservoir stays up there in Canada, and it's building. What I'm wondering is, at some point, when is that, and if, but when is that going to come down all the way? I mean, that is, at some point, that is just extreme cold. At some point, that's going to just break loose. and it shows signs of it trying to come south later next week near Christmas time, but it doesn't. The model, and this is just an operational model, it doesn't, but it just keeps that cold air in western areas of Alaska. So I continue to watch that pattern develop as we go towards Christmas week. I'm not giving up on cold for Christmas, but I am saying that any sort of wintry weather is highly unlikely at this time. Shocking news, right? In the meantime, what we always do is we tell you to download that Arkansas Storm Team app. It is free, and we update that regularly every day with multiple videos. And, of course, the instant notifications for warnings. You can be a part of the weather team and upload pictures and video. Any questions? Oh, wait, this isn't live. Anyway, so I've been recording this on Sunday afternoon, early afternoon. I've got some things I've got to do, and then I'm going to try to make snow in my backyard as the temperatures fall late this afternoon into the evening. The temperature should be cold enough pretty quickly that I can run this thing all night long, and I can't decide whether or not I want to just spread it out over the whole yard or just build a pile that's 10 feet high. I'm leaning towards the pile that's 10 feet high. All right, everybody, thank you so much for trusting the Arkansas Storm Team. We're always there for you, and thank you for making us the #1 source for severe weather information.